Sayulita Wellness, home of your inner peace.
Hi, this is Kaylee, and I'm back with another wonderful alumni interview from one of our retreats. Welcome, Don. How are you today?
I am doing awesome. Hi from Costa Rica to everyone.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you look so peaceful and relaxed. And I know you're out on the porch and you already showed me your view, so it's absolutely gorgeous. So you're sharing that Pura Vida energy with us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. So Don and I had the pleasure of spending a few days together at the center recently. Don was down for a retreat himself. So Don, would you mind sharing a little bit more about why did you come to our retreat?
Sure, absolutely. So, my wife and I, we work a lot with PTSD, U.S. military, special op troops, wounded warrior programs. Plus, we've probably coached around 10,000 couples in our life the last 20 years in the area of relationship. And I'm always looking for something that will help people. And I've seen such great reviews on what's happening with depression and PTSD. And I'm one of these guys, I don't like to talk about something unless I've done it myself. And so my first motivation was, okay, is this something that I should experience before I try to share it with other people? So that's the kind of the start. And then, of course, my best friend Bill Hamlin, him and I go place once a year, and he said this was something he would like to do. So he picked your retreat, and I'm so glad that he did because it was just perfect for both of us.
That's awesome. No, I'm so glad. I remember when I first talked to Bill and I was like, oh, I can't. He said such great things about you. I was so excited to meet you both. And it worked out.
Thank you.
I would be down at the center at the same time. And we really had so many beautiful, I would say, overlaps of healing and synchronicity throughout that experience. So, uh,
Yes,
yeah, the universe definitely brought us all together for a reason. So,
for sure.
would you mind sharing a little bit more about like what did you gain from this experience?
Yeah, so a couple years ago, I'll start with a little backstory. I did ayahuasca at Rhythmia in Costa Rica, and that really I had some tremendous breakthroughs in my personal life. I grew up in a alcoholic, very abusive, emotionally aggressive household, and so I had a lot of stuff from my past. Let's just call it that, right? And I'm always looking for the next layer, and that is the start of why I enjoyed thinking of coming and doing what we did with you. One of the things you have us do is really kind of speak out. What is it that we want to get while we're there with you guys? And I said, I really would like to get, more healing for my inner child. I'd like to be more present, and I'd love to be more grateful in life. And not that I'm not those things, but I think there's some other areas that I didn't have access to. And so I think just speaking out that commitment of what I was looking for helped guide the journey a little bit. And I'm not sure if that's how it works, but that's going to be my story. I'm going to stick to it for right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And we speak something into reality, and then, the medicine does what it does, right? Or the mushroom. Do you prefer the mushrooms described as medicine, or what's the proper terminology that I should use
No,
here?
I think that you're doing great. Sometimes I call it plant medicine or just the medicine, and other times I call it mushroom. So I think
Okay.
that, yeah, I mean, there's so many strains of mushrooms. I know some of them aren't as, specifically geared towards healing, but you could just say, yeah,
Yeah.
the mushroom medicine or the medicine. I think that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys did a great job with unbelievable food, preparing us with massages, the beautiful environment on the water right there, looking at the whales, which by the way, you are a great whale spotter. I found that out about you, right? You have this ability to find the whales. And yeah, that was pretty cool. So the environment, the smallness, the group, lots of people that cooked great food, and the attention of the teachers, whether it's yoga, breath work, therapy, everyone was at the top of their game. So the environment really was conducive for feeling safe, feeling connected with people. Like sometimes in a big environment, you can get disconnected from people. And so the intimacy of a small group had a lot of value. It was the first time in my life that I ever did yoga where I didn't make myself wrong. Usually in yoga, I make myself wrong. I can't do that. It hurts. How come they can do it? I can't. I have all these internal conversations. But, it was the first time in my life that I accepted myself the way I was doing yoga with what I could do and what I couldn't do. And I don't know if it was the way the teacher presented it or just the atmosphere of that, but it was a nice experience to say, wow, yoga was really good today. Even though I sucked at some of it, it was really good. So that was, I think, your the preparedness that we have going into some of the medicine was really very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, that first day you have so much preparation, like you said, you're being nourished, mind, body, soul with the massage and the
Yeah.
delicious food, and then the opening ceremony, which they do a cacao ceremony, which is really cool. It's very heart opening. And then you receive your journals. And I know that a lot of people felt very connected with the artwork on the journal, which was created by a local artist. And it's funny that you said I'm a good whale spotter because my journal literally had like the cycles of the moon and then a big whale on it. And I was like, I guess I'm going to see some whales this week. So,
Well, there's my journal. I'm not sure for those of you who want to take a look.
yeah.
There's a lot going on. That's my life. There's a lot going on. So very appropriate for me. There's a lot of hands. I don't know. It's a lot of fruit. Anyway, I never even studied it till right now, but thank you for saying that. So for those of you who want to take a look at my journal, that's what it looked like.
I think what's cool too, it's like it's a lot emerging, and then there's the butterfly in the front. So it's like all that you went through led to what you became. And I think that's a big
Yeah.
part of your journey for is what I would see is that you have had, and I've talked to a lot of people, right? I know a lot of people's stories, and you've shared with me, what you've been through from a young age. And it's more than most people go through. And you've created such a beautiful life for yourself and your family, and that you're committed to, I feel emotional saying this, but I
Yeah.
yeah, we have a good connection, but
Yeah.
you've created a very beautiful life for yourself, and you're someone who's still committed to growing, which is really inspiring. Our journey doesn't end, right? There's always more to grow, more to learn, and better we can do. And none of us are perfect. We're all just human and divine doing our best. So,
No,
um,
we really are. We really are.
yeah. And
Yesterday was my 65th birthday, by the way.
what?
Yeah. So,
Happy
yeah, I
birthday.
turned 65. Hey, for all of you, I am now on Social Security. Hey, how about that? I don't want to celebrate. I don't feel 65. I don't want to be 65, but it was great. And your dad was 70, right? Your dad was there with us, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my dad attended the retreat and he's 70. And I think all like you, Bill, my dad, I'm like, you're inspirations for, healthy aging or healthy, continuing to be young at any age because you
Yeah.
all have so much energy and it was great. We all had a really great connection. So it's just a number after all. It's really like the mindset and the hearts that you bring to it. And I think the good thing that comes with age is all the wisdom that you glean and knowing that you've had more time to grow as a person. So I think that's the big gift. And my mom
Yeah.
always said
Thank you.
it's a privileged age. So
It
it's a
is. It
privilege.
is.
So well, happy birthday. I wish I knew.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Um,
This is a great gift. I'm one of those guys. I love to give gifts
yeah.
at my birthday. I don't like receive gifts. I love to give. That sounds so weird, but so today, if there's anything that you're getting from this conversation with me, whoever is going to be listening to you, this is my birthday gift to you,
That's awesome.
right? And that maybe somehow it'll bless you. Maybe somehow it'll encourage you. Maybe it'll have you look at your own life. And so the medicine keeps revealing some things to me, right? So I'm microdosing right now, and I'm not sure if it's tied to that, but I'm sure that it is.
Yeah.
Again, I have never done this, so I don't know. So I don't have an expectation of what it should or shouldn't be. And for would you like me to get into how it occurred for me?
Yeah, I would
This
love to.
event?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about, if you want to talk a little bit about your ceremony or what you learned from the ceremony, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So I'll spend some time the ceremony, so I took the plant medicine, and we have separate rooms, and they give you someone to kind of watch over you, so you're never alone, which was beautiful, right? So you're in this room, you're having this new experience, and you get these little eye covers, and it's very safe, very private, and I start experiencing the plant medicine. And of course, I'd never seen the ceiling change colors or start breathing before, but it was doing some very interesting things as I was laying there. And I'm thinking, wow, this is what it's like to be on really strong mushrooms. And then, that was the fun. So that was the fun part, guys.
Yeah.
It was fun to see what that was creating. And then the medicine, quite honestly, just said to me, okay, let's start looking at you. And it was, for those of you listening, it was a painful night. So I'm not going to hold back. This is not, for some of us, it's not going to be a glorious journey. I come from a lot of physical abuse and a lot of bad memories from that abuse in the area of PTSD, even right from the type of abuse I received.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm one of those guys, for those of you that are listening, like I've done a lot of therapy. I've done a lot of work on myself. I've done through tons of education. And I really thought I had dealt with most of the big issues in my life so that I can function better. And I do function very well. But the journey of the medicine was this. I'm laying there and I actually kind of hear the medicine talk to me. It says, okay, you say you want to be more grateful. You say that you want to be more present. You say that you want to bring more healing to your little Donnie that lives inside of you. And then it says something I just blew my mind. And you won't forgive yourself because you don't want to feel the pain.
Mm.
And so that was the start of about 100 Kleenexes. Okay. That was just the start. Right. And it was almost like a broken record. I had no idea. And this is the thing. Like, I didn't know that I didn't know what I'm going to share with you. Right. Sometimes we know if we're unforgiving of ourselves. Sometimes we know if we're still holding on to something. This was like being hit in the head with a baseball bat. It came out of nowhere. Like, well, of course I've forgiven myself. I don't make myself wrong. I don't judge myself every day. I have forgiven myself. And I think I probably did at a very low level. Personally, I believe there are levels of forgiveness. And I think I had given myself just the baseline level of forgiveness for all of my failures. And so the medicine continued. And I know it sounds odd to say it was talking to me, but that's the only way I can describe because that's how it felt, right? And Madison says, okay, you say you want this, you say you want that. By the way, you gave us permission. I could hear the mushrooms saying, you gave us permission to do this for you, and you won't forgive yourself because you don't want to feel the pain.
Mm.
And I suffered and I fought and I turned my head and I cried and I went through all this emotional experiences of wanting to hold on to, for some reason, not forgiving myself. And the medicine went on to further describe to me, look, you have the woundedness of your inner child that lives inside of you. You have the woundedness of your adult person that lives inside of you. And there's not enough room to add unforgiveness. There's only so much room inside of you to be able to hold on to things. And until you forgive yourself, you're never going to really function properly.
Right.
And I thought, well, what does that even begin to look like? And I don't understand. And arguing and disagreeing and holding on to whatever I was holding on to. Uh, and the repetitiveness of you said you want this, you said you want that, you gave us permission, you won't forgive yourself, you don't want to feel the pain. I got so tired of hearing that. I wanted to shoot at whatever was talking to me. It was that irritating to me, but it was also that truthful to me.
Yeah.
Because there was like this box inside of me that I had no idea existed, a box of unforgiveness. Like I've been thinking there's somewhere there was a box that ever since I peed my pants in first grade, like I've been holding that against myself somewhere, someplace, sometime.
Yeah.
So the medicine said, listen, we're gonna use an example for you. And this is only going to be an example. We're going to use your son Colton, and he's going to be the example of what we're trying to show you. So about 23 years ago, I had an affair on my wife, and we sheltered our children from it. We got a lot of help, and that's what we do now. We help people their marriages. But the actual event of the affair was a very major affair. And there is no small affairs, by the way. But this one was extra painful. It cost me a very big business, cost me a lot of employees, cost me a lot of even almost my own life at one point. There was that much drama around this affair. But we're going to use your son as an example. I want you to look at and it was very interesting. This is not about beating you up about your affair again. That's not what we're doing. We're only going to use him as an example to show you what you've been doing with everything in your life. You haven't been willing to deal with the pain of what it put you through and you put him through.
Right.
And I was actually able to start feeling the pain of myself, the pain of what I put my own children through, and the pain of the employees. I had a company that was doing $25 million a year in sales. It exploded. after the affair because I had an affair with one of the girls in my office. I didn't ruin a lot of people's lives. I changed a lot of people's lives from that decision. And again, I don't want you to hear like this was about the affair again. This was really just an example to have me look at other things in life, but that one was very easy to see.
Yeah.
So since that time, like even last night, I had a continuing dream after microdosing yesterday about the impact and the pain that other people experience just from that one event.
Mm.
And not like I'm feeling guilt or shame or sadness. It's more like acknowledgement
Yeah.
of what actually happened and acknowledging my pain around it because I am a good person. I really made a bad decision
Yeah.
and it affected a lot of people's lives. And I've done that in a lot of areas of my life. You know, my dad was a arsonist, a counterfeiter. Those were his good qualities. Okay. So I grew up in a home where there was no boundaries. I grew up in pornography. I grew up in a home that had lots of abuse and no love. So I had no idea how real life functioned. So I've done a lot of things in my life that, looking back, is call them regrettable, but it's actually just what I did.
Yeah.
And so this experience allowed me to feel the pain of those things, the pain that was inside of me, the pain of maybe how it affected other people, but not from judging myself about it. It was about healing myself about it, which is a total different world to actually experience that. So I've had some phenomenal conversations with my son Colton. While I was laying there, by the way, for those of you, my son, we went to Rhythmia. He found he was a lighthouse for people. And when I was laying on the floor, every time I would look out the corner of my little eye patch, I would see this lighthouse. There was actually a lighthouse in my bathroom on the top shelf. And the medicine told me they were going to use this as an example. And because my son is a lighthouse, he creates safety. He creates a warning, you know. And so I got to have that visual tied into my experience. And I didn't even know if it was a real lighthouse. I just know I kept seeing a lighthouse every time I would look out the corner of my eye patches. And sure enough, the next morning there was a really nice lighthouse in my bathroom on a top shelf.
I saw that you posted the picture of that with your review for the retreat, and I was wondering, I'm like, I wonder why he chose this picture, and now it all makes sense.
It
Um,
all makes sense. Yeah. So I've had some unbelievable conversations now with my wife. You know, one of the things of being raised in pornography all of my life is dealing with lust. Even though I don't watch pornography, even though I don't go down that road. And men, you just want to hear this the way it is, right? You know, we all have had these struggles in this area of our life. I've chosen not to watch pornography the last 22 years, but I still lust. And so I was able to have the most honest conversation with my wife around that behavior and how what I do to be accountable for that.
yeah.
It was really amazing. And what I do to be accountable to that is, yes, there's this little Donnie that's been watching porn since he was 5. He lives inside of me, whether I want him to or not. He's part of me, right? And then there's the adult part that likes to get the rush of that, right? So how do these two bring healing to each other? How do these two entities that live inside of me become one?
Mm.
And I'll call it burning the ships. So, like, if I have a lustful thought, we'll have a conversation about it internally, burn the ship, not go there again,
Yeah.
right? Just really create a new environment to think of things within. The medicine also showed me I'm building a retreat in Costa Rica, by the way, for all of you that want to know, to provide healing for many more people. And the medicine showed me I need to be careful. I want to build a camp, but who's going to live in the camp is very important. Okay to have a lot of visitors on the outside of the camp, but really look at who the inner circle is. And not that I've chosen bad people in the past, but the medicine was really helpful in helping me establish what I want to create in Costa Rica. And that's a place where people can get healing
Yeah. That's
for themselves.
Yeah, so it sounds like you did so much amazing work with your earlier version of yourself, your present self, your past self, and also envisioning your future, which I think is so beautiful. So I was curious if you were going to talk about what you guys are creating, which is so exciting. And I think in order to, really create the more safe and beautiful and amazing container and retreat center, like that comes from all the work you do on yourself. Like that directly impacts what you create and the quality of how you create it and the people that are magnetized to it. And so, this kind of continual self-work is a big part of the business side as well. So as you know, so
Yes, it is.
That's beautiful. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And then how did you start to feel like the day after the ceremony? So I know it was very powerful, at times very painful, but also very important what you're able to do in the ceremony.
So great question. One thing the medicine said to me, and I'm still dissecting this,
Yeah.
and it was really strange. The medicine said to me, be really careful how you share this.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if they meant how I talk about it or how I actually share the medicine in the future with other people. I still don't know that answer yet,
Yeah.
right? But at this moment, I thought that was just interesting because I think there's a right way to help people with this. And then I think there's a lot of other people that don't do it for the right reasons, and it's a paycheck, and the motivations may be wrong and those types of things. But to answer how I felt, um, so there's two answers.
Yeah.
The one where, shit, am I ever going to get all this out of me?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, that's that's the first one, right?
Yeah.
And the second one is, wow, I'm so glad I did this because now I think I can move so far ahead
Hmm.
where I may have been stuck before,
Yeah.
and now I don't have to be stuck anymore.
Yeah.
And it was painful to do it,
Yeah.
right? And so that it was kind of a love hate, but in the end, I'd do it again. But it was very painful.
You don't know what you don't know about yourself. And oftentimes what arises in ceremonies, I say people go in with intentions, and often sometimes that's exactly what their ceremony is about. And sometimes it's about the thing before that or the thing after that. And it's not always things that we're consciously aware of. It's about how we manage our energy day to day. Even our external way of looking at the world is oftentimes really more about the ceremony than the actual events themselves. So it's about how do we manage and our own energy in relation to the experiences we have. So it's not always easy, right? Every ceremony is not going to be rainbows and butterflies, but I do believe that on the other side of a ceremony, the next day, even the next week, you come away feeling more empowered, more clear,
Yeah.
more sure of the next steps you need to take, whether your own self growth or your career or with your family members, and also you have a more sense of, I would say, gratitude for this crazy journey of life that we're all on, and just to kind of be a part of it.
Yeah, so I wanted also just to mention, so for those of you listening, I had this brother-sister relationship with Kaylee, for those of you that don't know now. But, I lost my sister a few months ago, and I just felt so connected to you, Kaylee, because of what you reminded me of. And the medicine also, for the first time since she passed away, allowed me to feel the pain. I never felt the pain of her death. I just said, well, I've accepted it. It's okay. But I never got to feel the pain until that night. So, and I didn't even know that there was something to feel. I thought it was okay just to be how it was, but it was okay to feel the pain. So, yeah, thank you for providing that
Yeah.
space for me. Yeah,
Yeah, my pleasure.
to
And it was
have that.
funny. After the ceremony, I saw Don, we're about to have dinner, and I sit next to him on the couch and I put my arm around him and I'm like, oh, this is so funny. And I'm just, putting my arm around this guy that, I've just known for 2 days and feeling comfortable doing this. And he's like, my sister used to hold, you said my sister used to hold me this
Just
way.
exactly like that. Just
Yeah.
exactly like that.
So, and that's what I mean about the retreat is those stories, weirdly enough, they're very common. It's between our guests of like one person will remind you of something, or people that like really feel like they've known each other in past lives and been connected and finally meet again. We have two women in particular I'm thinking of. They're 20 years apart in age. They met at the retreat like over a year and a half ago, and they've been best friends ever since. They go like
That's
around the
awesome.
world together, and they have families and loved ones, but they just feel such a strong connection to each other. And in their ceremonies they also realize what their connection was. So this happens a lot actually, but I'm so glad that that you were able to feel that pain, because I think a lot of times even in spiritual communities we think, oh, like she's at peace now, or or this person, like I'm glad they
Yeah,
transitioned. But I think we have to also honor our own actual true feelings deep inside. And
yeah,
in our
yeah,
in our busy world, it sometimes feels hard to create space to do that, because it feels like this is going to be too difficult or take too long or it's too inconvenient, So, but there's such,
yeah.
I'm sure you felt it, but there's such richness that comes from really feeling. And
There is.
yeah,
There's a lot of value in it. Again, for all of you who think you have forgiven yourself, um, again, consider there's another level. And for me, the only reason I didn't want to feel the pain.
yeah,
That was my stop. That was the reason I didn't want to go to a next level. I just didn't want to feel the pain of how it made me feel, how it maybe felt other people feel, excuse me, I get my English right. So it is, yeah. So I'm writing a book also for those of you. It's called My Dad's Best Friend. It's a book on being the child of an alcoholic. And I'm either going to write a new book from this experience, right? Or I'm going to add a chapter
Yeah.
on this experience. I don't know which one yet. I go on a cruise in about 2 weeks, and I usually work on my book when I'm on cruise ships. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Um, and again, for all of you, I know you don't know me. My life's commitment is to help people. My wife and I, we help. We didn't get paid. We just do it because we love to help people. And the retreat that we're going to build in Costa Rica, we will make some money, but that's not my motivation. My motivation is to help people.
Yeah.
And it was awesome to see how you guys did it, the organization, the love, the realness. Yeah, there wasn't much missing
Yeah.
that, you could say, wow, this sucked or that sucked. It just, it was really nice.
Yeah. Is there anything in particular that stood out to you about the staff or the team members that you got to meet?
Well, you're probably going to think this just because you're on this video with me, but you were unbelievable. You are a shining star. You are so connected to people and you stay on top and you're committed to people. And, I felt there was somebody on the other end of the line that actually cared. And, it showed with all of your communications. And so, not to give you all the gratitude, but I want to give you all the gratitude. Okay. You deserve it. You're a big reason we were there.
Thank you, Don. I really appreciate that.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
I remember our first conversation. We talked, I think, for almost an hour just before
Yeah.
we signed up. And I already knew you were going to sign up because your best friend had already signed up. But I was just like,
Yeah.
I just enjoyed talking to you and was excited to get to have the opportunity to meet in person. And I just genuinely love each person that signs up. Like it is every person that's brought to this retreat, I do believe it's like it's some greater picture of why they're brought here. I really do believe in that.
Yes.
That I just get to be the person to like welcome them and help them feel safe in that process. And it's definitely like a very big honor. And in my first ceremony, when I at the center, I've done others before, but I saw like how I was meant to work, with Nirvana and Charlie, like the owners of the center. I just saw like my part in it all. And it was really I just felt really honored to do that. And I've had my own journeys with pain. We all have our story, but I think because of that, I've really just have a lot of compassion and a lot of love. And it's, I just the relationships and connections that you form at the retreat are so special. And I know you came with one of your best friends from your whole life,
Yes.
which is so cool. But
Yes.
I do believe that you made some other beautiful connections while you were there too, uh,
Yeah.
which is cool as well. So
It is.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
thank you on who you're being,
yeah.
um, and to help make this possible for everyone. And, just doing this follow-up work, I've had a call now from the therapist, Maria, I think it was her name. That call was unbelievable. It was day before yesterday. I love the follow-up. She's full of love, generosity. She helped me see something that I hadn't seen. She was able to pull another layer of that onion off that I wasn't willing to look at, in an encouraging, loving way.
Yeah.
That's another brilliant thing, and not to compare you to Rhythmia, but Rhythmia is like the number one retreat center in the world for doing the ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't like a lot of follow up like that, not on that type of professional level. And I felt that's encouraging to me because I still can have a conversation of what's going on for me with someone that knows me, has met me there, and continues the journey with me as I'm doing that.
Yeah, I think that's really huge. And I always encourage people to try to wait if they can, like a week or two before they do their follow-up, which is kind of what you did. You waited a few weeks. And I think that's smart because there are so many realizations you have, it's not just the ceremony night. It's like the mushrooms keep communicating to you. I know you're microdosing, but even if you're not microdosing, like there's deeper layers to it. And I think things start to shift in your life when you come home of like, oh, this serves me. Oh, this doesn't serve me, or this relationship's changing in this way, and it's for this reason. And I do believe that a lot shifts, and so it's nice to, like you said, have that support a few weeks out to like help with those pieces. And yeah, Martha and Anna and our Antioshi, a lot of our clinical psychologists, they just ask like the best questions. We were like, oh, I didn't see that part before, so I'm glad.
Yeah, she actually opened up the, I don't want to say the neural pathway
Yeah.
that was blocked when she did my first interview with me or counseling session with me. We talked a little bit about forgiveness, and she goes, "Well, have you ever forgiven yourself?" And it was almost like I got hit with a freight train. I thought, wow, I never even considered that question, right? 'Cause I didn't even think it was something I needed to consider.
Yeah.
But that was the first eye opener. She kind of opened the gate for the medicine to be able to do what it did. She saw something I couldn't begin to see,
Yeah.
which was awesome.
Yeah, and that's like I think I really love with our retreat, and I've worked at a lot of different retreat centers in my career and retreats and hosted retreats,
Yeah.
but the structure of our retreat I just love. Like I just love the order of the opening ceremony, hypnotherapy, the massages,
Yep.
sound healing. Like it just all works so well to like prepare you to the ceremony, support you during, integrate after. Like I really am like I sometimes have tiny suggestions of things, but I've never really had any changes to the overall schedule because I think it really is very complete and it helps you like open you up a little bit beforehand, and then it's nice to have that support afterwards as well. So I think I just realized too, Don, on the shirt I'm wearing today has a little butterfly right here, and your journal
Oh,
has a butterfly.
to match. Yes, that's awesome.
It matches your
Of
journal.
course, that would be appropriate.
I
Yes.
know. That's so funny. I was like, oh, well, that's amazing. So it sounds like there was some difficult times, but you are so glad that you had this experience because it showed you so
Yep.
much more of maybe also where some energy was stuck that now you can channel into like a more creative and productive,
Yeah.
so yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So thank you for helping me burn ships that needed to be burned. Go
Yes.
to a new frontier,
Yeah.
set up camp, and don't go back.
Yeah.
Right?
And
It's
also
a
just, yeah.
great experience.
And also just like love yourself and let go of some of the shame or guilt that you carried or
Yeah.
judging yourself. Because, and thank you so much for being so honest. I think a lot of these topics that you share about, is a lot of shame and stigma attached to them. And I think it's so healing for other people to be able to hear someone talk openly about their healing journey with it and feel like, I think it's just really brave and really inspiring. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, Don, the last question right now is, what are you taking away from this retreat?
So already, including my own son, Colton, when I've shared this conversation, it gives people an opportunity to take a look at themselves at these hidden little areas that we haven't looked at, right? So for myself, usually when I find healing in something, I know it's not just for me, it's to help other people in their own healing. And I'm already seeing that this conversation with the select few that I've had is helping them do a little more of an internal search. So I'm taking away is that I'm going to be able to help a lot of people as a result of this. And I'm thankful and grateful. I said I wanted to get more gratefulness. I got a lot more gratefulness. Why? Because I'm going to take what I learned and I'm going to change people's lives.
And I think the level of honesty, like self-honesty, self-reflection, and openness you have, that's like a real superpower and a gift that a lot of people aren't willing to be super honest about things they've done or not critical, but just be honest about what happened and about the fact that they're even still healing. Or, I just think that all that's really amazing. And especially for men, like I just think that there aren't enough positive examples of men sharing their feelings, sharing the areas where they wish they had, been better, but also loving themselves through that process of healing. So thank you for being an amazing example for so many men
Thank
and
you.
women listeners, and of course your son. I'm sure that was a really powerful conversation for him.
Yeah, it was. I only cried once talking to him. I was proud of myself.
Yeah, Don is wonderful. One of the things when I first met my husband Brian, I love that things would move him to tears very easily, and I thought that was an
Yeah,
amazing quality. And I was like, I thought that was really special. So I think that's awesome to be in touch with your feelings and be
thank you.
to let it go. Right, tears are cleansing. So okay, I did lie. One last question is,
All right.
what would you say to someone who's on the fence about attending this retreat?
So I'm going to repeat the famous words of a famous philosopher called my wife, Angie Power.
Let's hear it.
And
Let's
I,
hear
and I love this line. For every reason that you don't think you should do this is the reason that you should.
it. Mic
So
drop.
for every reason, yeah, hey, just drop the mic. For every reason you don't think you should, that's the reason you should. It's tied to that, by the way.
Yeah.
And so I would come into a whole agreement with my wife on that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think there reaches a point when each of us, when it feels worse to be stuck where you are than the fear of change, you know? And so
Yeah, yeah,
I think the butterfly is a good metaphor of like you have your little caterpillar phase, you know, you have your cocoon phase, and from there you completely disintegrate. Like you're almost unrecognizable. And then you
yes.
come out as something incredibly beautiful and inspiring. And people look at butterflies, people aren't really focused on the cocoon phase, but that's where the transformation happens and you become more of who you were always meant to be. So
So true. There's so much available for all of us. And that's the encouragement also, guys and ladies and everyone that's listening is what would be possible in your own transformation for the people that you love in your life? Consider it's not just about you. It's for everyone you're ever going to meet from here on out. What if you can just be a better version of you? Even if it improved 10%, wouldn't that be better for the world? I mean, the world's got a lot of issues. We need more love, we need more compassion, we need more understanding, and it's got to start with us.
yeah.
So if we have the courage to do that, it's hard to give somebody something if you don't feel it for yourself.
Yeah. I just had a conversation yesterday with the guy who signed up for the retreat. I'm so proud of him. And he said, I don't even know myself. And I said, well, if you don't know yourself, how can you love yourself? And he said, I know that this is going to be better for everyone I know in my life if I can know myself better. And yeah,
So
that's
true.
yeah, it's so beautiful. So well, thank you, Don. It's been such a
You're
joy
welcome.
to talk to you, and you know I love you and feel so connected to
I
you.
know.
So I
I
know
love you too.
we'll be friends forever. Can't wait
Yes,
to
we
meet
will.
Angie and Colton one day, and I'm sure we'll reconnect. We love Costa
Well,
Rica.
that's going to be that's going to be sooner than later, kiddo. We're going to get you to Costa Rica, and we're going to have a powwow down here. Okay, I'm going to
Sounds
take you hostage. I'm going to take you hostage. I'm going to send the demand note to Sayulita, okay, and see if they'll pay it. If they don't, you're just stuck. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm down. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Well, wonderful, Don. I'm definitely looking forward to sharing this interview. I know that a lot of people are going to get healing from it, and I know that you can also share it with some people that you might want to share it with as well.
Okay. Thank you for taking the time today.
My pleasure. Thank you.